Happy Halloween! I'm Jamie McNichol, your Southern Sentinel, coming to you live for the Southern Truth Halloween Megashow. I am your scary scarecrow or Leatherface, or whoever you want to call me. That's right, I'm dressed up for Halloween. I've got a major big panel. I want to introduce Catherine, Sophia, Greg Fernandez, Bill Grant, who's got a frock around his neck. But we are going into the paranormal of the David Crowley case. If everybody can hear me properly, just give us a thumbs up. We're going to go to the ladies first. How's your weekend been, ladies? Catherine, Sophia, how's your ladies?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay. How's your weekend been?
Oh, it's been busy. We've been recording all weekend.
Yeah. What, you're not used to people talking to you behind a mask yet?
Well, COVID did this to me.
Lips when they talk,
COVID did this to me. Right? So COVID, there will be a costume change coming up during the show. So I'm just letting you guys know. But this is the reveal. I bought this on Friday, Australia time. I showed these people what it was. I didn't reveal it to anybody else. But Catherine, how's your Halloween been?
Quiet. I don't do holidays, so for me, it's like it's in every other day. It's no biggie.
Yeah.
But just it's been a crazy busy weekend, man. You guys are you record a lot.
Well, I'm gonna put a pen in my mouth. Bill Grant, you just got off Revolution Radio for the second time on the weekend. How's your show been and how you been?
Yeah, well, I had Jay Parker on, and he's someone who talks about these pedophile satanic cults of which he was raised in and exposed what's been going on. So, Greg, I actually asked him about if he knew about, the David Crowley case and what he thought of the chances of a satanic town in that area, but I couldn't think of Apple Valley, and I was thinking Wisconsin at the moment. I said I can't remember, but I know it's Minnesota, and he heard of it, and he's going to look into it himself because
Awesome.
he says 15% of Americans are of the cult one way or the other, and I think he's probably right. I was surrounded; they were propping up all around me. That's part of my story of which I'm known for.
Interesting.
And, so they weren't really that bad, but it was becoming very bad, and then it got real dark.
Yeah. And the man of the show who is going to be running the direction of the show, I'm just going to control all the panels on my end. It's the one and only who had brought this case to the forefront way back in 2016 on the Sentinels of Truth show with Eric Spitfire Wilkinson, the one and only. He loves wrestling like myself, and Greg, you and I need to do a wrestling show, man. We need to go back into the 1980s, early 90s of the great wrestling. The one and only Greg, the World Heavyweight Champion of the world.
I think
Fernandez.
he killed you
How
last
you going,
time.
Greg Fernandez? How you going, man?
Undefeated. Still
Is that a
undefeated.
Wonder Woman belt?
This is actually a fanny pack. This is actually a fanny
That's what I
pack.
was gonna say. It looks like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Waterworld. So you
It's
from Waterworld?
WWE, guys. Come on. World Wrestling Entertainment. How can you not know this? What type of
Wayne's
researchers are
World.
you guys? How do you not know about wrestling? Come
Wayne's
on.
World.
Don't
I know
worry
about
about
that.
them. Don't worry about them, Greg. I know you and I. We're
That's an
massive
upside down
old school wrestlers.
M. Yeah, that's Mighty Mouse.
Minnesota Mania.
It's Mario Brothers.
Yeah, Mark. It could be anything, whatever you want to call it. But yeah,
That's pretty good though.
it's an old school fanny pack. It actually you can open it
Yeah.
up and put little things inside of it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. My wife hates it. She rolls her eyes every time I bring it out. So
This is a
I bring it
dryer
out a lot.
hose.
So this is the Halloween special. We're going, before I hand the microphone back over to Greg Fernandez to direct the show, the course of the show, we're going on to the paranormal side of the David Crowley case, and I have got a couple of documents here that I was given to me from Greg Fernandez. The recording back in 2012, it's a telephone recording, and I've also got a PDF file from April. I think it's a journal, and we're going to look at the paranormal dark side. So if you're ready to get bloodthirsty like I am for this Halloween special, be prepared.
Oh, you ate the
Anyway,
head. That was
anyway,
you.
Greg. Greg, I'm handing the microphone over to you to take on a course.
All right. Well, I mean, there's a lot to think about. Obviously, a lot of people, when they think about the paranormal aspects of this case, they roll their eyes. They don't want to look too deep into it. It may not even be relevant. It may not be that relevant to this case. But the fact is that there were some paranormal things that happened related to this family before they moved into their house. And while they were at this house too, that we know of. We only know about a couple of them. These incidents, these things that happen, were obviously, some of them were in Eric Nelson's film, A Gray State. We've seen a few of those. But the reason why the film looks kind of weird, they kind of have some of the cult stuff, but not really. The paranormal stuff, they hint at it kind of, but they don't really go that deeply into it, is because when Kamel's family had their footage taken out of Eric Nelson's film, that's why you do not see Kamel's family at all in that hit piece. It's not really a film. But the reason why they had all of their stuff taken out was because they felt that Eric Nelson was slandering their family member. The film was supposed to make Kamel look crazy. They wanted the whole pack theory again. So that's really what they are hinting at during that whole thing, is David went crazy and Kamel went along with it, is kind of the gist of what I got when I watched Eric Nelson's film. But there was a lot of other paranormal stuff that was supposed to be included in that film that did not make it in. Kamel's sister talks about something back in 2013, before they had moved, before David and Rania and Kamel had moved into their home at 1051 Ramsdale Drive. Kamel's sister actually talks about a paranormal incident that she had while she was staying with them. So her story goes like this, Kamel's sister story, and I put this in my book too. But basically, Kamel's sister is staying over at David's house, their apartment, and Kamel's sister wakes up. She sees this dark figure. She thinks that it's David. She calls out to it. It doesn't answer. She realizes it's not David. Actually, Rania is actually screaming. I think Rania screaming is what woke Kamel's sister up. And so she starts freaking out. Kamel's sister runs out of the bedroom because she was sleeping with Rania at that time. So she runs out. She sees David on his hands and knees praying. He said that there was something off that night. And that was Kamel's sister's first experience with the paranormal, maybe her only experience with it. Up until that point, she had not heard, or she hadn't seen anything, didn't really take it seriously. She had heard of jinn, because jinn is just another name for demons. So it's mentioned in the Quran. Any Christian who has read their Bible knows that there's demons that are mentioned there. So it's not like these things are that far-fetched. Obviously, a lot of people have questions. How does this tie into this case? And hopefully, we're going to go through some of that without giving you too much of my speculation and what I think really happened in relation to this stuff, because a lot of this stuff I just cannot prove. So I don't tend to really go there, but tonight I thought would be probably a good night. If we are ever going to go there, this may be the best night to go there for so many different reasons. But one last thing that Kamel's sister did see while she was there, she saw toys flying off of Rania's bookshelf, and I think books were flying off of other bookshelves too. So not only was there a physical dark figure that kind of looked like David, but there were items that were falling off of the shelves in their home. Now, we have to take Sidra's word for it. So obviously, if you don't want to take her word for it, it probably is not going to mean that much to you. So that's that's the physical manifestation story that Kamel's sister saw while she was there. Now, in David's Day One journal, and I believe I was looking it up right now, and the ladies may know offhand, but I believe it was July 27th. When
Yeah, I've got the April. I got April 2013, 2014. I don't have the July one.
okay, yeah, no, it's a part of that document.
Yeah, yeah. You
But
want me to bring it up? You want me to bring it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it up on my side here too.
I'll bring it up for the audience. So we'll go to
Okay.
the journal. We'll go for the journal first.
Yeah, and I'll find what page it is, but I believe it's either July 24th or July 23rd, somewhere around there.
So this
I'm gonna
we're going
move
to
this. So
bring it in. So this is
jumping
April
around.
14th, April 13th of 2014. So you want to start here in April and work our way through to what you're talking about?
I mean, there's only like 2 or 3 different places that really talk about some paranormal activity. So
Okay.
I think
So
let
is
me
there
get there.
anything around this time that really stands out on April 13th?
No, not to me.
Okay, so we'll go down a bit. So that's April 14th, April 15th. So I'm just going to go down a bit. So I'm just going to say where we're going. We'll probably go here. Oh, May 1. Anything in May? No.
Nothing in May. No, it's either July. I believe it's July.
There's Kamel. There's Kamel. There's May 24th. Nice shoes, by the way. I like those shoes. May 28th. May 31. And here we go. We're in June.
Yeah.
We're in
Pretty
June.
sure it's
Anything
July.
in June? Or we're going to go to July. Okay,
Yeah, let's go to July here. Sorry, I should have been prepared for this. I just didn't have time to look this one up. I think the other ones are kind of mentioned, but
there's the dog.
There's a coffee table I slammed with my leg tonight.
Yeah. Is that the dog that they own? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a dog. So if you want to know what the dog looks like, there it is.
Yeah, the whole journal. Yeah, go ahead.
Page 115 of the Day One journal. Kamel will have to write about yesterday. I don't know that she will. There were physical effects, deep understanding.
All right.
Yeah,
we're in July now.
Yeah, that's a different one though. Trying to get to the one where he sees. Basically, I don't know if I can find it. If not, but basically, what David sees is this orb. So he's sitting there with his dog, and he talks about seeing this orb, just kind of floating by. And the way that he talks about it is just very, very casual. And a lot of the stuff that they talk about when they talk about these paranormal things, they just talk very candidly, really. You know, they're not freaked out or anything like that. If it was me, I'd be pretty freaked out about some of this stuff. If I saw
this is on July the 4th, 2014. Watching Sean Dog tonight. What a little arsehole. Had to run around the neighborhood chasing him. Also doesn't know how to hold his pee or ask to be let out. Just another example of us and our standards versus others.
Yeah, I wish I could remember where that one is.
So this is the family here. We're talking about the family.
Oh no, you're right, Sophia. Yeah, so here it's Sunday, July 27th, 2014 at 10. So go to page 115. Sorry, Sophia, you're right.
Sorry. So 115.
We're just playing catch up. That's all.
I've only got one eye, guys. I've got a mask on.
No excuses, JV.
So July 27th.
July 27th, Sunday, July 27th, 2014 at 10:23 a.m. David writes that Kamel will have to write about yesterday. I don't know that she will. There were physical effects. Deep understanding, stretching my mind past what my body can tolerate, and apparently I retched something that Paleo watched float. Such a weird thing to say happened, but well. So yeah, it's just very kind of casual. Like I was like, what do you mean something that Paleo watched float? So I think that was one of, yeah.
Check this out. You think David will be able to spell that, hey? He put T-A-T there. Maybe it's a thing, but
Well,
for him,
yeah, and
for David to be a screenwriter, you think he will know how to spell, but
well,
yeah,
if you go back to the, I mean, don't do it, but basically the first thing, his first journal, the first thing that when he starts this journal on April 14th, whenever it is, he makes it very clear that he's not going to worry about typos. So he makes it very clear that there are going to be typos because he's writing this on his phone. So most of this is directly from his cell phone.
Like this one here, it's basically I will conquer, but because the E is next to the W on the
So if you want to pull up the article that I did on this,
you're talking about this one here, the paranormal phone recordings, or
the paranormal phone recording. So this is where a lot of this kind of started, and we did a whole show on this. It's about 60, 70 minutes or so. And so we're just kind of going over all of the weird things that kind of happen. I think this is some of the strangest stuff here, where David is actually talking about, this is where you see the occult influence in the story. So that's a direct quote from the film, from that film. And
just hold up for a sec, guys. I've got a phone call coming through.
I thought we got some elevator music there going. I need spooky music to kind of heat.
Hello,
Eerie. Go for the eerie.
Good night. Good. Yes, she does. I'll just pass you on to Shay right now. Just hold on for her, and I'll get her to give you that phone number. Just hold on for a sec.
Are we waiting for Jamie?
I don't. You can probably.
I don't know if we're supposed to wait for him or not.
But if you guys hear a little bit of a weird sound from my end, I got my clip-on fan. See, I'm going off the end of an RV table. Like I'm not sitting in the bench of the RV table. I have a chair off the side of the RV table, and that's my desk. And
Sorry about that, guys. That was a phone call from the real estate. So it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But my clip-on fan, I realized, vibrates the table of which my laptop is on. And it's on a couple basket things that kind of shake a little. So if it sounds a little kind of windy or odd, that could be it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I had something similar happen. That's why I moved my laptop, because I was trying to work on my laptop and I could see my screen shaking. Like it's paranormal. It's coming for me. They're coming. They're here.
Now.
So let's go.
My poltergeist moment.
I missed what we were going on about.
What are they going to say about my disappearance?
So Greg, let's go back to what we were talking about. So this is direct quote from David back in 2012.
This is a direct quote. I'm not exactly I guess it is back in 2012. David, October 15th, of course, has to be in October. David, October 15th, 2012, David filmed himself going over the Gray State story. Now, on his wall, there was a bunch of sticky notes. So if you've ever seen this film, if you've ever seen some photos where they want to make David look crazy, they try to make him look crazy because he has all of these sticky notes up there. And at first I kind of thought, okay, maybe these sticky notes were right before David died, but no, these were back in 2012. This wasn't even where David was actually living. But if you watch Eric Nelson's film, it's all trickery. And so they really kind of keep you going, everything is nice in the film until they get to this part here. And then they start talking about the cult. And when they start talking about this cult, and it's a cult hints, right? It's just hinting at it. And that's all that it really does. And for me, it was so out of place in this film. But I mean, obviously, people that have been looking into that stuff, that are looking into ghosts and demons and spiritual things, et cetera, obviously they're going to latch on to this. And people that think that all that is just nuts, they're going to think, well, David was nuts because, and here's one reason David was nuts. This is what they're trying to really do here. They're trying to make David Crowley look crazy based on these paranormal things that may have been happening or were happening, that he talks about, that his wife talks about. And so they really try to focus that and put that at the very end here. And so back in 2012, David has this wall. He's talking about his story, et cetera, et cetera. This is 2 years before David moves in to his home on Ramsdale Drive. This is where the occult influence in the story takes place. And you'll see almost nothing until it spikes. But then a hint starts to rise. But if the hint is rising, where does the hint come from? And I have planted it. And have I planted it appropriately in the past? So subconsciously, somebody could read that and think, "Oh, that's what happened with David. There was an occult hint, and you don't see it until it spikes. And by that time, everybody's dead, and that means David Crowley killed all of his family and everything." They hint at so many different things, but this is the one to me that really stuck out because I really thought that people were going to latch on to this one. It's kind of a gimme, right? It's kind of all the people, all the gatekeepers that just want to make David Crowley look guilty. They just take these little clips and start showing them this. But David is talking about his story here. He's talking about his 2013 script. But obviously, in the film, it's made to look like David is talking about, if David's story, if what David's saying is really happening, then obviously he believes that all of this stuff is really happening too, which is weird because, again, this is from the 2013 script, and this David will completely change the 2013 script and take out all of this stuff. So what is the relevance for all of this, knowing that 1 year later, David isn't even talking about this stuff? This isn't even a part of David's film, which will then be turned into a TV series. So it's really grabbing. And so we kind of looked at all of these things, and I felt like, let's put all of these things in one little place, and let's just chat about them. And so we did a whole show on that. And so this October 15th, 2012 video is just one weird thing where David is talking about the 2013 script. That script completely changes by May of 2014, including having Danny Mason's character completely written out. So what is the whole relevance of this piece being put into Eric Nelson's film? And I'm going to leave it to everybody to assume. You can assume whatever you think is the relevance of it.
Yeah, so I'll hand the microphone back over to the ladies, Catherine or Sophia, if you want to add anything into it.
I think that they were trying to take the audience. They had my theory is, and I pretty much have created a whole list of parallels, is that the 2013 script, parallels what happened in this case and how they did the documentary. And so the whole occult thing and stuff like that, if you read the 2013 script and you compare it to this case, to the narrative, a whole bunch of bells go ringing and everything. But David had completely changed the script, and I honestly believe that the Gray State guys did not know that he changed the script. And I guess maybe this was just their way of selling the idea. I'm not quite sure. It's very interesting to see how anyway, I'm sorry, it's late.
That's okay. That's okay. Well,
Well, and
you want,
you know, I agree with what you're saying, and pretty much with what Greg was saying as well, is that it seems like Eric Nelson, he had a narrative, and so he was putting out breadcrumbs to fit
Thank
his
you.
narrative so people will follow his pathway. And I don't know if Eric actually saw or read the changed script, but I agree with Sophia. I don't think the Gray State guys had a clue, because as you're reading David's journal, he states that he does all the work. He's doing complete all rewrites. It's not even the same idea, which is why, off topic, it's David's script. It's not Danny's, but Danny's still under the impression that it's all the same stuff. So they're all thinking that David is still following along the lines of including paranormal stuff within the script when that has been taken out. But yet Eric doesn't want the audience to know this, because it just somehow takes away from his narrative.
Thank you,
and
Catherine.
Bill, do you want to add anything into this whole scenario from your
Yeah, I
standpoint?
mean, when you start going down the mystery path, it does attract a different audience, and it gravitates to a less serious audience. And it's not to say I'm kind of desensitized to a lot of that stuff myself now, but it still gravitates. It pulls away from the seriousness of this being a real murder investigation and the whole seriousness about what's going on the planet. So it overall gives an air of darkness a little bit. It takes, and what I think is possible, just a possibility, is that maybe they were kind of alluding to, possession. He was possessed or influenced by the ghostly or demonic side, and that made him, whether by hearing voices or by being possessed or just being driven crazy, to kill his wife and daughter. I mean, for all we know, it's, just to throw out there as a possibility.
Right. Well, from my standpoint, I need to put myself on solo because many people are
Wait a
like,
minute.
yeah,
Somebody says there's a what on my neck?
a
That's
snake,
nothing on my neck.
a
I
snake
have
on
an
your neck.
itch.
Yeah, a snake on your neck. So, here we go, guys. I am the scary Leatherface / Scarecrow, whatever you want to call it. I truly believe that David Crowley was trying to expose what was actually going on at the world at the same time, and we're currently seeing unfold in our very eyes as we speak. Was David possessed by an evil force? Well, perhaps, but not in a way to make him look like a complete psycho. And I just got to say, if he was documenting on a sticky note on his wall, then why a year later it completely changed? Like you know what I mean? The whole scenario completely changed. Did somebody else write the sticky notes, or was it truly David's words? Greg, Catherine,
I think it was David.
It was,
Yeah, I think it was him.
yeah. That's similar to a storyboard. So when you're writing, and especially if you're doing a massive script, and he has this massive wall, yeah, you're going to make use, and it's like a storyboard. It's like when I first started covering this case. In fact, Dan used to laugh at me a lot because I had butcher paper on my wall, and I did everything writing on the butcher paper, and I just think it was his way of writing.
Yeah. So he was documenting on a sticky note, and people now just presumed that he was a wacko, demon possessed, because he had all these different quotes on a sticky note. That doesn't make him demon possessed.
No, it's just the way he's writing. So each note, like this chapter, these characters, this is what I want him to say. This chapter, these characters, and that's pretty much all it was. And then tying it all together.
Now, Greg, can we put up, or have you got the file of the two different scripts from 2012-ish to the 2013-14? You got the script of it? Or do you want to
Yeah.
go? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have that up. I think I have that on my website, the 2013 script and then the 2014 script. Think of the 2013 script like a Stephen King movie, and think of the 2014 script like a Tom Clancy movie, and you can see how everything shifts. So why don't they focus on David's final script? You know, why don't they it's just they love to pick and choose. Eric Nelson loves to pick and choose these things and put them out of order, out of context, really, with a lot of this stuff. And I do wonder if Kamel's sister's footage was not taken out, I wonder how that would have looked like. I wonder what they would have, you know, where this would have went in, how deep could this have gone? Could this have actually turned in to a film about them seeing things and these things go wrong, et cetera, et cetera? And like unless that has something to do with David's, with what happened with David and his family, obviously there's no reason for them to put that into this film here. So by putting it into this film, it opened up, at least with me, it opened up a Pandora's box. And I'm just like, whoa, that just blew everything out here. There's so much more here. But also, you know, I wasn't going to just take that bait. It seemed like easy bait to just say, oh, there's something going on here. This guy's crazy, you know, and definitely I don't see that.
So welcome to the Halloween Mega Show. We have the one and only, the Crypt Rip.
The Crypt.
How's it going, guys?
From the Crypt live.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right. Sorry I'm late. It's been a busy day.
How you been, man? How's your Halloween? How's your weekend been? How's you been?
Been awesome. Had a great anniversary today, so I'm glad I made
Happy
it.
anniversary.
Thank you.
How long is it now, man? Like you were saying, like 26 years anniversary? That's a bloody long time.
Oh my goodness, that's great. That's awesome.
Dang.
So it's been a busy day.
Congratulations. Woo.
Congratulations, Rick. Congratulations. Hey, my fiance's been putting up with this crazy face here for the last 9 years.
And she still loves you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've already lost an eyeball.
Here, I have some of this for you.
That's true love. What is
that? Pam said that you look a little dry.
Has it been FDA approved already?
No, but it's in test mode. It's in beta mode, so it's cool. Don't worry about it.
But I just got word. This is COVID. This is not.
I believe that's COVID. Yeah.
I caught COVID. This is COVID.
I think you're right.
UN. It's the new UN symbol. It's the new flag symbol. You know, going up.
Yeah, but you need to put the tail in the mouth. Come on, you got to do it right.
Oh, I can try that. See if I can get it.
Oh boy!
If it'll
now
let
we're
me.
getting.
So Rick,
here.
So Rick, welcome to the show, man. We're talking about the David Crowley case, of course. We're talking about the paranormal side of things. Just want your opinion on that thing. We were talking about the sticky notes that were on the wall of 2014, and also we just got into a little bit of the script from 2013, how it was changed to like a Tom Clancy film in 2014. Your take on the whole spin?
Well, I just it's hard to say. I got the scripts. I actually printed them out and blew up my computer, my printer almost, because they're so big. I didn't realize how big they were. So I'm reading those, and I definitely I've read the first one, and I'm on the second one right now, and I definitely find the paranormal part of this story kind of intriguing. It's kind of I heard you guys talking about the documentary on Netflix and how they kind of touched in on stuff like that. And I wasn't a big fan of that documentary just because it kind of touched on it, but didn't really go into it. Like they were definitely going in, trying to follow a certain narrative. At least I felt during that whole documentary, they kind of like, I heard you guys say that it kind of painted him like looking crazy with his sticky notes and stuff like that. I don't see it that way. I just see him as a writer who had all his notes stuck on his wall and was trying to make sense of keeping the story in line. So they may have tried to paint it that way. It didn't come across that way to me, but I definitely, in the interview I did with Greg from my channel, we talked about the paranormal part of it for a little bit because I do find it very interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's what tonight's show is all about, is the paranormal stuff. Greg, I'm going to share screen the screen share again. We haven't really
Okay.
gone through much of it because I've been getting messages.
I kind of feel like Billy Snake is trying to attack Criprick's cat in the back. That is the fattest cat I've ever seen.
It is.
That's so awesome.
I love the cat. I love the cat.
Thinking about it. If it didn't have me, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
My cats make an appearance every time I come on camera. If I'm not on camera, they never come around.
Speaking of that, I got to make sure my cat's not crying here.
So,
That's a little bit of a mystery too.
So, Greg, I'm going to quote what David said here. This is, I think it was, around October 15th. So, this is where you see the occult influence in the story, David explained, and you will almost see nothing until it spikes. But then a hint starts to rise. But if that hint is rising, who does the hint come from? And have I planted it appropriately in the past? When the bad guy is introduced, David continued, is there enough of the occult hint? Has it been properly set up as the exciting incident so I can ultimately bring it to nowhere and create the emotionally charged climax that is loaded with the meaning that you didn't see coming? Now, what was the inciting incident? Greg, can you explain that, or are we still trying to work that out?
I think based on the 2013 script, I think it's the Bohemian Grove. A lot of it kind of comes from there because I don't want to give away the film for people who haven't, or sorry, give away David's 2013 script for people who haven't seen it or read it. But there is child sacrifice mentioned in David's script. So you have some of that stuff happening in there, and even in the script, it still kind of feels a little like what? Like, where is this coming from? That's one of my favorite scenes, actually, dealing with the Grove, because I've been looking into that, and I know there's a lot of different theories into that stuff. So it was interesting to hear David actually put that into his script. It was pretty weird. So, I mean, that's kind of that's what I think he was getting at. Obviously, that is just a meeting ground for these Satanists and these, people who want to sacrifice people and do all this crazy stuff. But it kind of seemed like that was kind of the centerpiece of this script, was that there was this evil person. There's this evil. It's hard to talk about it without giving away too much.
No.
There is a lot of evil presence in this script here, in this 2013 script, that is not in the 2014 script. And it's just weird that Eric Nelson chose to focus on the 2013 script, almost acting like he didn't even, like the 2014 script never existed. Well, if we have access to the 2014 script, I know Eric Nelson had access to it too. He probably had access to a lot of more stuff than we had. So if anyone was in a good spot, in a right spot to prove David Crowley guilty, Eric Nelson was. Yeah. And looking at that film, I just think he did a horrible job. Horrible job.
Now we're just talking about the Netflix AA version of A Grey State. They removed the recording. The removed recording has been difficult to transcribe. That's their quote. What about Kamel, where these recordings? Okay, we've got the first paranormal recording on the 29th of 2014. This is more like their version of it. If you want to read it out, Greg, is this actual accurate, or is that their words?
This is directly from Eric Nelson's film, and this is what David is recording off of his phone, talking to his wife. So they're chatting on August 29, 2014, and so they're just, he's just letting them. He's getting his wife to recount what happened. And so it kind of starts there, which is, it really goes in to David trying to get his wife to recount what happened with this, whatever Kamel saw, whatever she heard, whatever it is. So he kind of goes through that. This one, and here's what's interesting. I know we're going to talk about the other there's 3 paranormal recordings basically, right, where they're talking about it. There's no paranormal recording where you see anything like a ghost or anything like that, but it's them talking about what happened. The first 2 they're both, very, very calm. In the third one, Kamel is not so calm, and that one is that's the one that I've had trouble trying to get a real transcript of. But this one I think is kind of really simple, obviously, and it's from Eric Nelson's film.
Okay.
So I did the best with the third one. I mean, I say we go through them all. Maybe go through them all in order. Right there, what you're looking at, I think, is one of the recordings from the last one, October 30th. So we can get to that one. You can play that. It's a pretty short clip there. But
so I'm trying to get to the transcript of the last one. I think it's right.
It's hard.
The
Yeah.
second and the 2 together. The second and third paranormal recording on October 30th, 2014, which is 2 months, give or take, a month and a half since the bodies were found, and 2 months. I'll say 2 months. Well, whatever. 2 to 3.
Yeah, I really think you should go through the first one because it helps put this into more of a proper context first.
Yeah, it helps with the narrative. So let me just read this very quickly, and then everyone can just jump in when they need to. So this is David told Kamel in a video recording dated on the 29th of 2014. This is just for us. Rennie came home with a fever and you were connecting and playing. Yeah, Kamel explained. We were painting nails on the door right here to her room. Oh, wait, we were painting nails and the door right here to her room. I was sitting on the floor and she was sitting facing me. And I had my back towards her bed. And they were painting, and then we both felt something come through the door. Kamel initially brushed off the feeling of something coming through the door. As I'm going back to painting my nails, Kamel explained to David in the video recording, I know where Raina's voice is because I've been talking to her. So a voice higher than that. So I just feel like the height was higher than where she was at the bed. No, you didn't take the song, the deep voice said to Kamel. What song was that?
There was a song. They were listening to music. I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't really say what song they were listening to, but this voice is speaking to her, and it's not Ranya's voice.
Yeah. Kamel, intrigued by the voice, as she recounted the incident to David. I just froze. I'm like, Rani, did you hear something? And she's quiet. And I look to see if she's awake or where it came from. What? Raina asked her mum. No, I didn't say anything. Did you hear that? Kamel asked her daughter. No, I didn't hear anything. That's when Kamel came out of the room and told David what had happened. According to Danny, August Mason, which we need to get a hold of if he wants to talk, David asked him what a spiritual attack would look like if it happened to Kamel. In the documentary, Mason's comment was shown in between David and Kamel recounting the paranormal incident. Since the recording was dated 29th of August 2014, it is possible this was proof of Eric Nielsen using false footage as comments out of sequence to manipulate viewers. Good point. According to Daddy Mason, his conversations with David was sporadic and Rana's birthday party on the 10th of August 2014. It's not clear when David consulted with Danny Mason about what was happening to Kamel, but if we assume it was after Rana's birthday party, how likely it was for David to be consulting with Danny Mason after August 29th, especially considering what we know about the legal battle between David Crowley and Danny Mason. All right, can you just explain a little bit what the legal battle was?
Yeah, so I mean, basically the whole thing about Eric Nelson's film, Eric Nelson is, he shows this clip that happened on August 29th where Kamel heard something And Rania didn't hear it. She heard this voice, and she goes out and she tells David on that day, that's all that happened. But if that is August 29th, and Danny August Mason is talking to David about this on August 10th, obviously that does not make sense. Those dates do not line up. For me, the biggest thing with this whole case is dates. It's very important to look at the dates. That's how we're going to know who is telling truth and who is not. But the dates should all line up. In this case, they do not. But the issue between David and Danny August Mason is David is moving forward with the Gray State script, but he wants to have Danny August Mason sign these papers to release Danny August Mason's rights. So that way David doesn't have to worry about any legal issues coming up in the future when he goes forward with this. So if David is working with a film crew to make Gray State a feature film, David is trying to make sure that Danny August Mason signs away his rights to it. And of course, he gives Danny August Mason certain rights for the character that he's taken out of the 2014 script, and certain rights for other things too. But he wants to make sure that Danny August Mason lays no claim to the Gray State project, the Gray State fictional film, because it is a fictional film, moving forward. Danny August Mason stalls, he stumbles, he backtracks, he never signs this. He never signs these papers. And so that was another strange thing.
Anyone else want to add into that? Anyone? The floor's yours before we continue. I'll just stop screen sharing so we can talk about this. Anyone want to put in their word? Anyone?
With the dates, there's an awful lot of date issues with all of this.
Yeah.
And there's an awful lot. And but besides that, maybe they were just trying to get. Maybe he just thought that he was going to get a bigger audience this way. And see, to me, I don't want the bigger audience so much as I want it to be taken seriously. So it may have worked if that was what was on his or their mind at all, as a consideration to try to get it as a little bit of a cult classic, if nothing else. I mean, it doesn't really rise to that level for those reasons anyway, but I don't know. I mean, those are just things that come to mind as a way to think about some of this, what might have been in their minds. But those date issues kind of takes away from all that. Though, I mean, that's like premeditated. They already knew. There's no reason to bring it up, kind of thing. But on the other hand, maybe they were trying to imply that David was going down the right path, dealing with, again, we say, the satanic or Luciferian types, cultish types, and they were impacting him throughout his life, and his family, or Kamel anyway, and So, I mean, you have to wonder what they were thinking, whether it's half legitimate at all. I don't, I mean, these are just thoughts right now, especially as I'm falling asleep and I'm, I'm a little oxygen deprived at the moment.
Well, you're doing pretty good, all things considered. But
and I can't hear over it for some reason.
That's kind of the thing is what I thought, is that they were trying to imply that when David's wife was having these paranormal, when she was, this voice was coming in, they're trying to imply that David Crowley went to Danny August Mason for help. They're trying to build this relationship with Danny August Mason and David Crowley in late 2014, when by 2014, their relationship is struggling. The relationship between Danny August Mason and David Crowley is fractured. It is almost broken, if not broken. I mean, to the point where later on, David Crowley is pretty much going to say that he will destroy Danny August Mason if he does not sign these papers. He hints at things like that. So, I mean, their relationship is fractured. But if you watch this film, it makes it seem like they're all good and there's no issues and all this stuff. And it's like, no, there's a ton of issues probably from when David took Danny August Mason's character out. That I believe was the catalyst of this. That really blew everything up. If you watch the Watch any time that Danny August Mason and David Crowley are both in the same room answering questions. It's tense. It looks tense to me. And the more that I go back and I watch it, I'm like, wow, I didn't see that. I didn't get that then. Now I get it. Now that I understand that there was a legal battle here between these two guys, like that is a big deal. Obviously, Eric Nelson can't focus on that. He has to keep the thing on David Crowley to make it look like David Crowley is crazy. Well, adding all of this stuff in there, Kamel seeing things, so she's crazy. And then, maybe that latched on to David. And so now he's crazy. It's just all of this weird stuff instead of like, there's a real story here to be told about what happened with David Crowley, what happened with Danny August Mason, just what happened with this script and everything. What happened with David, his wife and his daughter dying, being found in that living room with missing heads, missing hands, a missing arm, the way David's hand is. And we should talk about that too, because that really ties into this too, because there is a photo of that. Maybe later you can pull that photo up too. But I mean, there is just so many strange things, so many weird things that, you can connect those dots, but I don't want to do what Eric Nelson did and say, this must be a paranormal thing because we have this paranormal thing over here, that paranormal thing over there. But to act like these things didn't happen, it's documented. David Crowley documents it. His wife documents it. Kamel's sister, she also documents these things. So what is the relation? How deep does this paranormal, this cult thing go with this family? Does this have something to do with their deaths or not? And I think that's the question. That whenever I talk about this, I ask everybody that. So whatever you guys' thoughts are.
Greg and guys and girls, now we have to wonder about the future plans, because this may have been subtly put in, not so much to create as big of a deal over this film, but let's say he had planned on the second film building up the mystery to later be focused on, as if the next movie or two movies down the line, two documentaries down the line, they'll really focus on a whole ton of made up paranormal stuff. Like maybe to drag the whole entire thing sideways later. Not for now, but that's like the seed, you know what I mean, to build up a little bit of questions and then to imply that they had the answers the whole time, and now we're going to give you the real story, and this is all the crazy stuff that went on. They were going to hide on you. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm just throwing it out there, but for the future.
Catherine or Sophia, you've been a little bit quiet. I'm going to hand the microphone over to you. You can add stuff into here.
I'm going to be quiet for a while. My heater's on and it's super loud.
Okay. We'll pass it over to Sophia. You got anything to add?
I really don't have anything else to add to this. I mean, Greg pretty much said it all.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I took the words out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And Rick.
Hello, I'm here. I got a question for you, Greg. I kind of hit it on it with my interview, so you have to refresh my memory. And then you may have already covered this. Please forgive me if you have. Like I said, I joined late. Was there any other way, like before all of this gray state stuff that we know of? Was there any? Have you heard of anything where they were having paranormal stuff before this, like down the road of their lives, like before all of this that we found out about?
There's only one mention in the journal, in David's Day One journal that I found. It looks like there was something, David, now it's not really clear. David was trying to break away from something with his family. It wasn't clear if it was a real curse or if it was just the way that he felt like his family was, and he was trying to break out of that. Obviously, I subconsciously, consciously was like, oh, maybe that's a connection, because I'm looking for anything like that. But a direct connection, no, I haven't been able to find anything like that. The closest that I found was that there was something happening in David's family, and he felt like there was, I don't want to say a curse, but there was just this pattern, and he was trying to break free from that pattern. And it may have had just more to do with the way between a father and their child, and maybe David was trying to break that mold. So he felt like his dad and his grandfather did not have the best, they weren't really close, and David obviously felt like David and his dad were not really close. So it could be that what he's talking about is he's just trying to break that mold and try to get close with his daughter and trying to break that. That's one thing. The other thing could be maybe there was something, and there's some history of some cult thing. When I talked with Kamel's sister, it didn't sound like there was anything there either. But so I don't know. And that was one of the strange things that I always wondered, did David and Kamel, because they were looking into things. Obviously, they were researching, they were looking into things outside of the Christian world. And doing that, when you start looking into these things, I don't know if they were playing with any Ouija boards or anything like that. There's no evidence of that, but they were obviously looking outside of Christianity. And when you start doing that, you can open up some doors that you cannot close, and you got to be really, really careful with that. And my fear, 100% speculation, my fear is that David and Kamel may have invited somebody in to their life that brought that stuff in there. Or, they may have invited something. I really don't know. And I also can't say how relevant it would be to this case. I see another cat there in the corner. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's another cat. And we want to welcome
Scott.
We want to welcome the others. The Aussie Slayer.
Aussie.
How you going?
Scott? Scott, welcome to the Halloween special. We're looking at the quote-unquote paranormal side of things of the David Crowley case and the journal. Your intake. I know you've been listening, so what's
well, I've been kind of setting up. I've been tuning in the last, say, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It'll be good to know that I've started looking into it, and it'll take me a while to look through everything.
Yeah.
But I've looked at the Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and I've downloaded some stuff, but I've got to look at it and bring myself up to date with everything.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
At the moment, I hardly know anything about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Greg, you want to go back to the day one of the journal that we were talking about, or you want to continue with the paranormal?
I say I kind of like having you read the paranormal stuff. Yeah.
I'll go back to that. And if anyone wants to stop me and put a point across, please jump in and just do that. So here we go. So we're up to the second one. This is where we are. So according to the legal battle between David Crowley and Danny Mason. So the next paranormal phone recording was dated on the 30th of October 2014, more than a month after Danny Mason responded to David Crowley about signing the certificate of employment and release agreement. The email exchanges lasted until at least December 16th, 2014. Okay, now it's getting a bit more so. I wonder why David would consider consulting Danny Mason about possible spiritual attacks in general. Okay, do I need to read this section here?
No, that just shows that Danny August Mason has been looking into the.
Okay.
He's a ghost hunter. Let's put it like that.
So by May 12, 2014, Danny Mason's character had been cut out of the Grey State script, and David Crowley was pitching the news story to Michael Entertainment Group. Now, Bill, I know you know a lot about the entertainment industry. Do you know anything about Michael Entertainment Group?
About what group?
Michael Entertainment Group.
No, not in particular. I wasn't really a major actor or anything. I almost was, but
No. But you do know a lot. You do know a lot about the entertainment business, anyway.
Yeah, it's more general though, and what you need to look into is the issue with the Vegas shooter and those hotels around there and their relationship to Hollywood. That's what you need to look into right there.
Yeah.
And David, so this entertainment group was, I mean, they were new, right? They had just gotten started, so this was going to be their big jumping off point here. And they did more music, so they did a lot of music stuff. So I'm sure if we were to research their background, you guys may know some of these guys or know some of the groups that they've worked with, et cetera, et cetera. But this was going to be their big moment here, so they're counting on this. And I don't even know, I think after the project dies, their company may have kind of died off too. So it's a really sad story about what happened, not only with David Crowley, what happened with so many people that were looking forward to seeing this script on film, and just everything. There's so much sadness to this whole story here.
Yeah. So here we go. Yeah, so David was pitching a new story to Michael Entertainment. Okay, here it is. He was looking so much more to be the sole controller of Grace, Danny Mason stated in Eric Nielsen's documentary. He was looking for me to sign away my right as being the creator and one of the actors in it, and I wouldn't budge on it. Okay. So here comes the second and third paranormal recording on the 30th of October. It was hard to hear when I first listened, David Father said of the video recording dated on the 30th of October 2014, because there was some background noise in that room. I didn't realize there was anything on here. The video recording is very hard to transcribe. Several researchers have done their best to understand that being said between David and Kamel in that recording. Please listen for yourself and let me know what you hear. Okay, well, here's a transcript, a possible transcript, right? Possible. Kamel, right, you can read it. I don't want to mention the names. You can read it on the screen, guys, that's watching. Holy shit! What was that? I just told you, I can't hear and see your face / place. Oh, crap, what does that mean? I've wanted you. Of course you have, encouragingly. We were decided. You don't understand what you brought or bought. You heard it. You heard it. You did. Did you probe anything? Of course, sweetheart. Inaudible. He saw me running. This spirit face or this fear in his face. I found her too. I told her I cried, or I heard her cry, I want you. Please come with me. Please come with me. Please show me pleasure. Or there's nothing left here. What do you mean pleasure? This whole thing, inaudible. I've been wrong all these years. That's the best. I think you, Greg, that you came
Yes.
up with for now. Yeah.
Yes. And people can listen to that. Everybody on this, I know that the two ladies on the panel have listened to that, and they may hear something completely different, right? I mean, I've gone through this several times, and I've done several transcripts. It is so difficult. If there is somebody out there who can really take this audio recording and really help us get a better transcript, a more clear transcript, I'm in desperate need of some help with that.
I know that you can use VLC Media Player to bump up the audio to like 200%, and you can also slow down the video and speed up the video or audio.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh,
and you can in the settings up the menus at the top, and you can really go through very carefully and listen to or watch very carefully whatever's happening in that clip.
Yeah, and the only thing about watching it in the clip is the camera is pointed up to the ceiling, so you don't see either David or his wife. It's just audio, basically.
Yeah.
But that's great ideas. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
Anyone else?
Well, we should ask Rob, Jamie. Maybe Rob will probably corroborate with what Scott was talking about.
That would be great. Any help would be great, because I feel like this transcript it doesn't do it justice. This is just the best that I could do at that point when I wrote this, but we need a real transcript here.
Yeah. The ladies, you've obviously heard this as well. What was your feedback on this?
Well, like Greg had said earlier, Danny August Mason had been dealing with the paranormal and ghost hunting and dealing with spirit boxes and stuff. And he was also in that house in early August for Ronnie's birthday party. Now, the very first recording was at the end of August, and the very last recording was at the end of October. Now, this is my assumption, but it could have been very easy for him to plant something in that house when they were there at the party. And they could have been kind of messing with Kamel, I guess. And like I said, this is my assumption. So we're not saying that this is a fact, but you don't see them mention voices very often. They don't make these recordings. They don't write it in a journal. The only other thing that he's ever talked about was the orb that came out of him. So I just find it very interesting that it happened after everybody was in that house. And
Right. Exactly. It's almost like just out of the clear blue from, it went from where they were being real normal, everything was great, to all of a sudden this really bizarre event takes place that Kamel is now recounting.
Yeah. Greg, I just made you the moderator in the chat room, so you got a bit more of a authority in the chat room.
Well,
so.
hello to Lunas Glass. Oh, and of course,
I don't know who this person is. I don't know.
It seems new to me. And but what was fellow Mon? Yes, fellow Mon.
Yeah, Follomon's been around a lot. I want to say g'day to Pammy Thrasher, who's been following me for a while. And also, we're going to get Cash joining in from Western Australia in a very, very short bit. So everybody, there's a lot of people watching. I know it says 6, but no, that's not the number. Anything else? People that want to add something in, we'll continue to read
I get a question for Greg. Guys, how we the other night we were going over this when I don't think you were on with it. No, you weren't on with us this time, Greg. Now we looked at the Christmas presents opened, so we could see like the posters, like the Target posters, and
yes.
Yeah. Now what I noticed that was kind of odd is that originally we thought that was a heart floating aside the dead guy, right? No, but it was brains. I was like, well, that's kind of coincidental that it's almost like a head itself was floating off to the side, like a dismembered head. Either way, it's the brains, which were, cut out, chewed out, or whatever. I found that a little coincidental,
That is a little weird. I know that the zombies, right? The zombies were very popular then, so that was a big thing back then. I'm sure maybe now it is, but way back then, that was a big thing. So to have targets, and there are videos and photos of David and other people out doing target practice, shooting at zombies, right? That was one of the things. Remember the zombie apocalypse and all that fun stuff or whatever, and then like the whole bath salts things, and people really, the bath salt thing really freaked me out. I was like, man, there's really people out there going crazy and trying to eat other people. They're physically trying to eat other people, and they have this superhuman strength or something. It's like back in our day, it was PCP, right? Okay, if the guy is on PCP and then you see him and he's running down the street and he's naked and there's 20 cops chasing him, and and they can't do anything to him. It's just some crazy stuff. And so the bath salts, all that just took it to this other level. And so so that was there's some interesting things about those targets. But yeah, I never really thought about that. I'll have to go and take another look at that.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody else before we continue with these paranormal recording. Well, it's not a paranormal. I'm reading the.
It's a
transcript.
trivial topic. It's a very trivial topic, but I'm glad everybody's sharing their views. And there's no wrong. I don't think there's any wrong view on it. It's just different views.
Yeah, I just have to do this. I just have to poke me eye out. So
Write it down, Jamie. Write down those notes. Write your memo notes down.
All right, just hold on. I'm writing me notes. Just hold on.
So if the pin goes in there, where does it come out? No.
Just hold on.
Yeah.
Mr. Squiggle.
Yeah, flat.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, Scott.
He thinks that's the vex. Jamie, that's not the shot, man. You got to do the other needle.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you got the wrong hole there for the vax for the test.
Oh yeah.
This is what the judge. Look. Just have a look at me. This is what the judge done to my face. Look, it's done.
That's what the stab did to your face, not the jab.
I'm blaming. I'm blaming Shay.
Snake, man. I don't think the COVID shots are too bad. I tested it out on Fuki here, and no, man. I mean, look at my pet's good.
Yeah, he's just trying to bite your neck, but that's cool.
It's just he's tonguing me.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go back to read this this article that here. I think we almost covered it. Almost.
I don't know whose tail is what though. When I see the tail pop up, I don't know if it's mine or his. It's
So Kamel then walked into David Offer's bedroom and he was recording what had just happened. You got to give me some time, David said to Kamel. Can I just lay here a little, please? Kamel asked. Yeah. David responded. David then asked Kamel, Do you want? I was trying to remember everything. If you want to contribute, you can help me remember. Okay, Kamel agreed. You said you come from very far to me, David recounted. And Rani and I needed to come with you, and there's not so much time. This is not our world, and on some level, your soul has committed to mine, and we're going to go somewhere, and Rani's coming with. What was all that about?
Okay, so this is the pact. Yep. This is the pact here. That's why they have to put this in here. This is why Sean Wright focuses on the pack theory. This is why Kamel's family had all of their footage removed, because at this point, Kamel's family realizes that they have been done dirt wrong, that the sloppumentary, Eric Nelson's film, is going to try to take some of the burden off of David. And there's many reasons why they want to take some of the burden off of David and put it on to his wife, because then they can move forward with David's project and make money off of it. So they have to make it just, they can't just have it be David did this. They have to have it be, well, Kamel did it, and maybe even Rania may have been cool with this too. And so this is some of the strangest stuff here. But to me, it's like, wow, this gets really, really odd here, where now you're talking about, Kamel is plotting the whole thing basically, and they all need to die, and she needs to die, and David and Rania need to come with her. That's basically what Sean Wright told me when I first spoke with him. Pretty much the same thing here, and this is probably where he got it from.
But that's not at all what I'm getting when I'm reading this and when I've heard it. And that's kind of the frustrating part. I see this as Kamel has had a dream or a vision or something to that effect, and she's telling, it scared her so badly, and she didn't know what to do with that fear because it was so real. She's telling David, this is what happened. And then so David goes into the room, and he's going to start writing it down. She comes in, obviously still upset, because we see the video of this conversation. And he's like, well, do you want to just kind of sit down and you can contribute if you want? And she's like, okay. And, so he's now saying, this is what you said, this is what you saw. And she was scared. So was it a premonition? That's how I see it. I see she had a premonition that something bad was going to happen to them, and it scared her. I didn't see it as a pact, like, okay, this is what I think we need to do.
Well, I mean, David says that they're having lunch, and all of a sudden, Kamel starts to begin to shake, to
Right.
weep, to howl, all this stuff while they're having lunch. That's
At
not
home, though,
normal.
right. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It seemed to me like it was more of a premonition. I don't know if you've ever had premonitions.
I'm sorry. No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, and when they hit you out of the blue, I mean, you don't know how you're going to react, and then depending on what it is that you are actually seeing and what's being told to you, for lack of a better word, and so, and I think it just scared her because she, on some level, knew that this was going to happen. She knew they were going to die, but it was, nothing concrete that she could actually pinpoint and put her finger on. And I didn't see it as a pact. I saw it as she was scared hoopless. I'll keep my mouth clean. So
yeah, it is. So I'm right at this point where she's talking about her scientific side. Kamel, she's talking about her scientific side. So I'm just kind of skeptical, Kamel explained. I'm trying to make sure the source of whence it came from was real. I don't know. My skeptical side right now, my scientific side, my brain questioning where it came from. It's like, oh, was it something to confuse us? Am I crazy? David said no, which assured Kamel. So in Eric Nelson, A Grey State, David's father read commentary concerning an October 30th, 24 journal entry. October 30th, 2014, Dad read for the camera. There was a journal entry. It said Kamel got raptured today. Period. She's still here. That statement from David's journal did not come from the Day One journal mentioned early in the documentary.
No, it did.
Yeah. So
sorry, go ahead.
When was that? The same paranormal incident is described a little differently in the New Yorker article, Death of a Dystopian. Have we got that article? I can probably. Here we go.
Yeah, you can pull it up. It's one of the worst articles I've ever read in my life. But now, remember, I had written that before we had David Crowley's Day One journal, and according to what the police said, the Day One journal ended in September. But when we finally got the journal, you can clearly see it doesn't end until 2 months later.
Is this part of the journal here? This is from your YouTube channel, Greg. Is this? I just clicked on the New Yorker thing. Is this what it's actually talking about here?
That's my that's my take on the article. I pretty much point out all the bad things about the article. It's pretty long, but it's definitely something that somebody should read. You can read it.
Okay, all right. So we won't actually play. I'm going through some of the major things. So if you want to talk about it, David, David's on my brain. David Crowley's on my brain. Greg, if you want to start talking about it. So this is the Death of the Dystopian right here.
Yeah, it's a total hit piece on David Crowley. So there were a lot of people right before Eric Nelson's film came out. You had all these people all of a sudden are writing pretty much the same thing about David Crowley. David Crowley went crazy. He's guilty. He's a dystopian, blah, 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 blah. All of these speculations, all of this slander against this guy that is not here to defend himself. Okay. And so it was like, I was Alec Wilkinson. I was interviewed by him. He had on speaker. I'm pretty sure he was recording it for his own purposes. But he was basically, I tried telling him all of the facts. Item 57, what they missed. They missed the bullet that tied to Rania. They missed the bullet that tied to David. He didn't want to hear any of that stuff. It was all about the government stuff. It was just about, government this, government that. His fact checker actually called me back later on and ask me all these questions. I'm like, no, I didn't say that. So at least they do, they have fact checkers that will contact you and say, did you mean this? Did you mean that? Which I'm glad. I'm like, no, this is not what I was saying. It's not what I'm talking about. And it was just really odd to see. But if you read it, you'll pretty much see that basically they want David Crowley to be crazy too. They never present any facts that say, look, this is what proves David Crowley guilty. Slam dunk case. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing like that. It's all speculation. It's all just a big mind F. That's all it is.
So what we're currently saying here is quote unquote map out from their side of the thing. Look at the house. We've got the carport, the garage. We've got the front door here. We've got the lounge room, the Christmas tree, all in this room here. One Kamel body here, Rana's body here. The big royal blue one here is David Crowley. This is the couch in the lounge room. And look at this. This is just their description. I'm only talking what I'm saying here. Right? This is not actual evidence or whatnot. But, you got the master bedroom in the top right-hand corner. There was evidence number 38. I think there was blood there, if I'm correctly, Greg, 38 in the master bedroom.
38, yeah. So 38, 38, I believe is the that's the weed, right? Is that? Yeah. That's the weed.
And, Scott and Bill, this is the office. There was 3 evidence here. And, you got the hallway. You had blood down here too, or evidence of blood down here. And look at all this. The kitchen's over here. The re-entry. Now, the sliding door is just up here. I think, just up here.
All right, where is the hole that they saw the blood on the wall? And I talked about the carpet. Is that like around where the number 4410 is, or 25 or whatever? Wait, I'm just coming up with ideas about, let's say they were not even murdered in the house, and they were taken in the car, pulled up into the garage, and then took the bodies through that door and around the corner to the living room. Again, I'm just throwing things out there while I'm falling asleep, and so I'm a real zombie at this point. The door is not where I thought it was exactly, but I mean, little details like how the car was parked make a difference to me. And if it was too perfect, it either shows that it really was David because he might like perfection, or it means somebody was trying hard to try to make things look kosher or something. And was it a car or a truck though?
2 cars were in the garage.
Oh, they were, okay. Because one looks like a ghost figure there.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm wondering if you happen to know by chance if the garage door was locked.
Yes, it was locked.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bullet hole that you're talking about, the one that goes through the carpet into the basement, that's item 45. And
where's this here?
Yeah, where's that?
Well, it's not going to be here because it's found in the basement.
And also
Right.
the bullet hole up in the ceiling in the lounge room not there either. So
The 57 is where the bullet that they found 1 month later. So you kind of see it next. Yeah, right there, 57.
That one there.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't think they have 53. And that is the one that was tied to Rania. So, they did several of these photos here too. So obviously they did the first one. It didn't have 53 or 57. They did another one and all of a sudden it has 57, but they still conveniently leave out 53. 53 is the most important. That's the one that killed a child, a 5-year-old child. And it's not here.
Yeah.
Do we have a scale for that diagram too? How big were the rooms?
Yeah, so that is a part of some of the documents that we have. Several they have several sketches, but then they have several diagrams that look like this, if that's what you're asking.
Well,
Yeah,
the one that
Joe Cooksley actually goes through and he does a hand drawing and he has the measurements of the entire all the rooms.
Yes,
So
that's right.
Yeah,
it is
Catherine, I want to get that hand drawn one because we had a show yesterday morning. Greg and not Greg, Bill and Scott and Rick. We had a hand drawn. We're going to show you that one after I go through this to go on the way that things were different from this one to the hand drawn one that we've got. We've got a drawn map. But anyway, going through this. That this is the death of dystopian. And
I've got the article up in another browser tab, so
right,
you want to have a look
at the whole thing. Yeah,
right,
it's definitely worth reading. But it's it's a total hit piece on David Crowley. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, they're using the word alt-right, their fears, their deepest fears and everything.
Scott, can you post that in
you don't need focus on me.
Well, you can share screen from your end. You can share screen from your end.
You should see the article here.
Yep, here we go.
Because I can't see.
There you go.
Yeah, see, they even have the whole graphics, moving and everything just to make him look crazy, make him look even a little bit more crazy. But it is a total hit piece here, complete hit piece. Nowhere here does it prove where David Crowley is guilty. They just, they're just regurgitating everything that Eric Nelson's film is doing. It's all the same garbage.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Scott? So I'll just give it a little bit of a read. Probably not.
I'm not sure. This is just a web page. I'm not sure how to zoom it.
You zoom it in? No, don't worry about it. David Crowley.
Yeah, if you go to the upper right corner where you see like a little page. Yeah, if you click on that, I think it'll put it in like a printable form. You may be able to zoom in.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe not.
You can go a little bit
more readable though.
Yeah. So, well, I can read it. All right. So, David Crowley began keeping a journal in April of 2014. Which I've got in the other one. He was 28 years of age. And he lived in Africa. Yeah, we know that. Yeah. Crowley had been a soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan. Afterward, he had gone to film school. In 2010, he began writing a script that he called The Grey State, in which a totalitarian foreign regime conquers the U.S. government and a band of patriots form a resistance. On LinkedIn, Crowley described Grey State as a film about a near-future collapse of society under martial law. Well, we're currently seeing that right now. Crowley's engagement with the Grey State was consuming. Every little part of this project is me, he quoted himself saying. In addition to writing 6 very different drafts, Crowley wrote 6 drafts, Bill, 6 drafts of the script.
Is that accurate, Greg? Was there really 6 drafts, or did they just want to use the number 6?
It was 6 drafts at the very least.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was 6. Writing 6 very different drafts of the script. He made 3 trailers, for which he auditioned, rehearsed, and directed the actors, drew storyboards, designed costumes, found locations, and got permits. Acted as the director of photography, overseeing as many 4 cameras at once, and composed music and special effects. As if inhabiting the world he was creating, he periodically cut his hair in a mohawk and wore combat fatigues and body armor. Do we have a photo of him in a mohawk, Greg?
Yeah.
David Crowley? Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did. I thought we did. So, an actor named Danny Mason, who helped write the first draft, told this journalist that Crowley would take him on hikes through the woods at 3 a.m. Quote, we came to a clearing and he said, see that field? Imagine there being a convoy there and fires in the distance. Crowley had a patchwork system of belief. He regarded himself as a libertarian, but he identified with the left-leaning wing of the party not the militia one. Being a soldier had made him a pacifist. After unloading the trailer, Crowley spoke at Ron Paul event in Tampa, hoping to raise money. Gray State, he said, would explore such trends in the slow yielding of our quiet American towns and streets to a choking array of federal civilian grids, illegal police checkpoints. So he went to a rally, hey, David Crowley. He went to a Ron Paul event in Tampa.
Yep, in 2012, and he spoke there, and yeah, that was a big deal because that was a big thing to get Ron Paul some traction, basically.
Yeah. Through a crowdsourcing campaign, Crowley collected more than $60,000, much of it after to the conservative radio commentator Alex Jones, Infowars. Had Crowley and Danny Mason on his radio show, Infowars, in 2012 to discuss the impressive film you're working on. The world depicted in Gray State and was already happening here, Alex Jones said. The people who have hijacked our country, they're admitting it. They're admitting that we are an occupied nation by foreign banks. They're admitting they are getting rid of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. I'm pretty certain they were getting rid of the Bill of Rights and Constitution before David Crowley was writing this. That's just my opinion, right? But to turn up the volume, David Crowley was trying to expose it even to the forefront, even more. And I know Alex Jones been talking about it on radio since the 1990s. When Alex Jones was first on radio, he's been talking about the Bill of Rights and the Constitution being ripped to shreds by the US government. I know that. So, where are we?
Yeah,
So
Jamie. Jamie,
it looks like a
I know,
pretty long article because this goes all the way down.
It really is. I know Catherine has to go soon, but I was hoping that she could share some of her thoughts on just the paranormal stuff in general, because she's had some experience with it.
I'm going to do a costume change. Just be rude.
All right, Catherine, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and that's why I really think that what she was dealing with was a premonition. Just as an example, when I was younger, and I used to get a lot of this stuff. There was one time, and I was still a teenager in high school. I think I was like a senior in high school. And just one night out of the blue, it's getting ready for bed, and all of a sudden I had this crushing. I mean, it was such an intense feeling. I had to get up and move. I had to go. So I get up out of my room and I start running to the phone, and my mom grabs the phone out of my hand, and and I'm like, no, I have to call my sister. I have to call my sister, and I have to call my friend. There were two people, and she's like, it's 10 o'clock at night. You can't call them. And I go, no, they're going to get hurt. I have to call them. She's like, no, you just need to go pray it away, right? You just have to go praise the devil, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ugh. So, I mean, I did go pray, and I'm like, but it wouldn't leave me alone. So, and she would not let me call. So the next day when I was allowed to make the phone call, I called my sister. They were in an accident, and I called my friend, and he had an oxygen tank explode next to him. And it happened right after I would have called him. If I had been able to call him, he wouldn't have been near the oxygen tank. He wasn't hurt badly, but my sister, same thing with my sister. And my mom would always tell me, you're just, I'm possessed by the devil, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, because sometimes you just know crap and you don't know why, you just know it. Yeah. And so, so when I hear and I watch Kamel and I see her reaction and I see her so upset, and then she's like, I'm trying to use my scientific mind. I'm trying to say, okay, rationally, does this make sense? Can I trust where this is coming from? Or am I just kind of going crazy? And David's like, no, you're not crazy. So, and looking at it from that angle, I really don't see it as a pact at all. I just see somehow, some way she was given forewarning what was coming to them. And it's sad, because it came to be, right? Most of her whatever that she had they died. They all left, quote unquote, left, and it breaks my heart, because there was nothing they could do. They didn't know when it was coming. She just was told it was coming, but who told her? There you go. We don't know. Was it a good spirit? Was it a bad spirit? We don't know.
I like that take. I was going to say that earlier, and I know that happens quite a lot to people that are going to have a particularly violent or mysterious death, especially one that's public. And I mean, that could very well be what it is. So I meant to say that earlier. I have all kinds of things. I'm kind of desensitized to a lot of things, but if I seen a monster pop up in front of me, like a real one, I'd still be freaked out. I'm kind of used to it. I've kind of seen everything in a way, but
Like seen what? Like, have you seen physical manifestations? Like what exactly have you seen? Or just evil people doing evil things?
I mean, in a way, I had the light version of everything, but I kind of had a little bit of everything. So, I mean, I've seen orbs and ghosts and shadows and shadow people.
Interesting.
I've seen all that. I mean, I've done the dream stuff and premonition stuff.
Do you say zombies? Do you say zombies, Bill? Because you look like one right now. No, I'm
not zombies. Dead people. I see dead people all the time. We talk a lot. No. But a friend of mine used to sleep in a crypt, and he made friends with a girl ghost who's kind of his girlfriend. I hate to say it, but so he did, or he thought he did. So I know what you're talking about either way. Like I've done the make a chair, make a person sitting in a chair float up. I've seen glowing red spheres, orbs, a smoke, misty ghost.
I want to say something. Sorry to interrupt. Have any of you on this panel? I used to live in Western Australia, and we used to go out into the forest a lot. And there's a story, and it's a very mystical story. The red eyes are wood arches, and the green eyes are the witch arches. Have any of you on the panel heard about that? About the eyes? Wood
I heard
arches.
You talk about this. I think it
wood
was
arches and witch arches. You can't actually see it straight on. You can see it in the corner of the eye, and that could be behind a tree, a building, a wall, and their eyes looking straight at you. But you can't look at them, straight on. You can see them at the corner of your eyes. They know you're there. And I have heard paranormal activity out in the forest that they do actually kill people. Not as a spirit, but you get what I'm saying. They make the person kill themselves in the forest. Yeah.
You know what though? I mean, the stuff about the toys being moving around and whatever. I mean, the least thing that happens on many sighting kind of situations, the least thing is things moving around.
Right.
So, that does not usually happen, might. So that would be odd. That would be a strong or very angry or very emotional spirit, or just the perfect place for the energy to work, whatever, but it's odd. It is odd.
Yeah, if it's true, right? If it's true,
right.
Go ahead, Sophie.
Do they call it psychic now? PK?
Yeah, it's a PK factor.
Yeah.
Telekinetic.
Yeah, where the person who is emotionally charged, but also is sensitive, could move objects, scratch other people without even touching them. These things happen because they manifest that energy into.
Well, they say the 3 a.m. hour of the morning is supposed to be the paranormal hour. You know
why?
In the mornings. So
you know why?
Yeah.
It's because of the brain. It's because of the brain. The brain has odd function, timing, and all kinds of things, and certain types of calculations and psychological factors literally go into reverse. So it's like if you're dreaming, you'll have dreams that someone you love will be shunning you and hating you in that dream. And of course I've had that happen. So it was my first thought that came to me. And 3 o'clock is the time that there's an inversion in how the brain actually works, and the psychology goes into effect, opening up doors in odd ways.
Yeah. I want
Well,
to get.
since you bring that up, Jamie, if you go to the one of the last posts in the Day One Journal, probably the only other thing that's relevant, David makes a weird, strange post at 3:33, or talks about that it's 3:33, and it's a pretty interesting post. I found it pretty interesting.
The last page or the last.
Yeah, if you go to page, it looks like page
156.
Yeah, maybe not 160. Go to page 161 and read from Tuesday, November 4th. And he makes a post at 10:08, but he's talking about when it was, something happened at 3:33.
So this is Tuesday, November 4th, 2014 at 10:08. Remember yesterday when you saw it was 3:33. Symbology.
Yeah, the apple.
33.
Numerology, yeah.
The apple
33. 33 is a symbolic number.
The occult uses numerology a lot.
Yep.
Right. Well, the universe is like that, though, and the cult just happens to know how to use it against you in their favor. That's part of the problem.
So let's read this. Remember yesterday when you saw it was 3:33, when you realized you were munching an apple that Kamel had just given you. Last night at 8:1230, our Garden of Gethsemane. We are cast out of Eden.
Does that mean between 8 and 12:30?
Possibly. Last night between 8 to 12. Yes. That doesn't seem right. I don't. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Last night.
The dot's been left out.
I'm trying to read it from a 24-hour time clock. Yeah, but this is not in 24 hours. So yeah, between last night 8 to 12:30, our Garden of Gethsemane were cast out of Eden. Yeah.
Interesting.
Pretty. Rick, I want to hand the microphone over to you. You've been pretty quiet. I want to turn the microphone over to you. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm having a great time just listening. I think this is part of the case is really strange. I find it really fascinating, though. There's so much. I always keep saying there's so much to this case. The more I keep looking at it, it gets weirder and weirder. But what I did want to say was, because we're talking about symbology and that, you guys were talking about that guy who won the contest, the X Factor, and he did that he done that video talking about the Freemasons. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's his. Yeah, I couldn't. Thank you. I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
And I started watching that today, and that is crazy. Like it is very disturbing. If even half of what he says is true, or a quarter of it. I mean, for me, I find it was very interesting to the point. I'm almost done. And there's a lot of symbology that he talks about. And the one part that stuck out to me that has anything to do with this case, in my opinion, is that they said at one point in the video, he said that if the Freemasons are upset with you, the first thing they do, the most basic tactic that they do with you is discredit you. And they destroy your name. They destroy your character. That is the first thing that they can do. That is not, like killing you or anything like that. But it's the one thing that they can do that really hurts you. And so I found that kind of, I don't know, it could be a coincidence, but I find that that's what happened with David, is a lot of people are out destroying his name and trying to paint him as a person that did this or didn't do this. It depends how you look at it, but they are definitely going after his character as a father and a husband and all of that stuff. So I just found that interesting. And I think it's a great video that people should see, my opinion.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, fellow man said yes, the number 33 is used in all mainstream news. It's a coding for their occult magic. Solenton says
it's like a Mason thing too, right? Masonic.
It is. Yeah. 30. Yeah, the 33 degree. The 33 degree. Yep, the 33 degree. Silence him says this. My first one, it was like I was at a football match. I can hear it but not stop it. I was also semi-aware that I was awake and paralyzed. So,
Sleep paralysis. That's a scary. That's a
Right.
scary one.
Yeah.
They
Because-
may really have been affected by cultist
Like-
in astral form and having rituals performed over their names and so on. Things like that do happen. And
Yeah. So, fellow man said this. He had seen the black mass appear and held him down. I had two friends witness this about in his bedroom. They witnessed it. So, yeah, the black
Just
mass.
one word on when things like that happen. You have to call on the name of Yahushua or Jesus
Amen.
or the Most High, which is his
Amen.
actual name is Yahweh.
or Yah can do as well.
Everyone calls God, but he's actually got a name. It's Yahweh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had
You've got
a
to call on
strange thing
Jesus, and
happen.
you've got to have absolutely firm faith in it too. Otherwise, it
Absolutely.
doesn't work.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I totally agree with that. I had a dream. I don't think it was real. As far as I know, it was a dream. There's somebody in a wheelchair sitting next to my bed, and he was just sitting there. And for some reason, I reached out to him and I grabbed his hand for some reason. As soon as I did that, I could not move. I could not speak. I tried to speak. It was the scariest dream I've ever had. And I remember it very vividly too. But I've had friends, I've had family who have talked about, who have seen things and things have flown off the shelf at their head, tried to actually physically attack them. But I've never experienced anything as far as I know.
So Luna's Gloss says this in the chat room, the Freemason rule. Everything, 13 families, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Black British, Jack, ever heard of the Earth Dwellers?
I haven't heard of the Earth Dwellers, no.
I do want to clarify one thing. Most people say the word Freemason when the Freemasons, that's the lower order. It's the Freemasons, then the Masons. So the order of the Masons and etc. used to all be very secret, and you could not talk about it and so on. But later on, they eventually created the open and free and accepted Masons that were free. They did not know all of the secrets, so they really weren't in very much harm, and they would be prepared for the next stage. And eventually you get to the order of strict observance. And what that means, observance means to follow orders, to listen to your commands, and you cannot question those commands. If you so much as even question them, in many cases, you'll have your throat slit. You'll be killed. And you'll probably be killed in front of the other ones as well.
And that's what Altian Childs, he covers all of this. It's a 5-hour video, and he was part of the Masons and stuff. And so he talks about all of that stuff and the ranks with the Rosicrucians and the,
We're going to get, I'm trying to reach out to him to get him on our panel, guys. So look forward to seeing that and stay tuned for details. We're trying to get him on. So, but question to you, Bill. From what you know about the Masonry and Freemason, and you say if you speak too much, you'll probably get your throat split. Do you think this, in your mind, in your own mind, do you think this was the case in the David Crowley, that people knew too much or spoke out too much, therefore they got?
I think he was at least thinking about it, and I think he had enough connections to those kind of people, at least through friends and maybe family, that maybe even he sort of grew up as one or partly as one, and he believed a lot of it, but really turned against them. And maybe he was thinking about exposing more family secrets, or what the family knew, not about them maybe, but what he researched, and maybe why exactly was he like the black sheep of the family at that time? And I'm wondering, I kind of was under the impression that his brother he was still friends with his brother, but you have to wonder if really maybe he was one of the bigger enemies and maybe killed him. I mean, I don't know. You guys would know a lot more about this than me. So They definitely do that. So it comes down to this: if you're a Freemason, you can get away with telling secrets, but if you're a Mason and above, remember 33. It means kind of like it means number one or even zero at the same time. And in other words, you rise through the ranks, and 33 means you're both simultaneously at the end of the Freemason ranks, but you're also already begun level number one, or you could say you're in between both. You're exactly on the line. And it represents the number. When they talk about the skull and bones, what bones are they talking about other than the skull and the crossbones, the arms? They're talking about the backbones. So 33 backbones. That's the backing of their society. And that starts the real secrets of life and death and their real, what they're willing to kill for. I mean, I won't go on. I mean, it gets.
No.
Yeah,
But
I've
you'll-
heard that. Sorry, I've heard
Yeah,
that there's two sides to masonry. There's you go up one side, and that's you get to level 33, and you can't go any further. So
Right.
you have to go to the other side, and there's so many more levels beyond 33.
It's
And
99.
It could go further because
I know
I'm
that's right,
suspecting, when the Bible talks about the number of his name is 666.
Yeah.
I think there could be 666 levels in this really occult society, and when this global leader comes on the scene, he is going to be at level 666.
Yeah, it could be
but
right.
To get to that level is so. The great Jeff Lehman spoke to me about this. What you're talking about, Scott. Those extra levels on the other side is so damn difficult to get into it. To get to that, there's so many stages you've got to go through, and it is so damn difficult. And many people, if at all, achieve that. So it's so damn difficult. Fellow man says this in the chat room. Look up Captain Morgan. His grave headstone ever says he was murdered by Freemason. He was going to write a book on them and spill their secrets. Morgan, come on. Morgan influenced the start of the first third party that revealed the demons and the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. They called it the Anti-Masonic Party or Whig Party of 1832.
Yeah,
man, we can go in all different directions here.
Yeah,
Well, I also want to say that Greg, Dan, and I also did a video, and I got it based off of what Altian Childs had done. And it's like when I watched Altian's video, a lot of the aspects of this case, especially how I see a lot of the Freemason and the occult, just jumped out at me. So we did a video where we tied in a lot of this stuff. And it's called Order Ab Chow, and it's on Greg's channel, it's on my channel. So that might be something if you guys want to see, and I only put together some of it. There's a lot more there that you could tie with this case. But if you want to see the Masonic symbolism associated with this case, check out our video. You might be surprised.
Well, let me just ask the panel, do you think what Bill just described just then, do you think David Crowley or someone close to him spoke too much or too soon to reveal what the Freemasonry were about, and he paid the ultimate sacrifice for it?
Well, he puts it in his 2012 trailer.
Yeah.
So at that point, he's a clear target there. It's weird that it's not mentioned in the 2013 script or the 2014 script. I think by 2012 somebody gave him that message that, hey, you don't talk about that. You're making the Freemasons the villain in your trailer. And so and that took off, and David, the quality of that 2012 trailer, whatever your view is on the 2012 trailer, the quality is so good. I mean, that's with $6,000. Give if you give that guy, a couple million, man, he's gonna, obviously he's not gonna be the one who's actually doing the actual work, whatever, but he's gonna make something really, really good. So
Yeah.
and he had a big following, and I think he still does. So yeah, I think after the 2012 trailer, he becomes a target. And I think that's why they blew him up. That's why the alternative media blew him up and then took him down.
Right.
And I think the reason why he finally died was because he was trying to persist with some of that.
Yeah, you know what? See, not only that, that's around the time everybody started getting whacked a lot faster because they were coming up to today's world. They had these plans for this pandemic, the whole lockdown. They had all these plans, and they were going to go through with it. They were getting closer and closer and closer and closer to their final world takeover goals, and they were gaining in more and more and more power, but yet more and more reasons to kill people a lot faster that are going to ruin their plans. They like timing. They want to keep everything right in time. They have to follow that astronomical cult clock, or it all goes to hell. And they just kill anybody. The more power they get, the easier they get away with the killing anyway. So they weren't gonna let him or a bunch of people like that stop their plans for what happened already, what already took place now.
And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Danny August Mason had a best friend who's a Grand Master who actually got him into Freemasonry, who was became part of the Freemasons shortly after the deaths. So you're asking, were there people? Yeah, David was very, at one point, close to Danny August Mason, and Danny August Mason knew these people in high up in Freemasonry. And the guy also, not only is he high up as a Grand Master of a lodge, but he's also into the occult and witchcraft, in which he puts all over his Facebook page. So yeah, I'm telling you, we tied a lot of this stuff in together, and so
he also went to the same high school as David,
the Grand Master, correct?
Oh wow! Oh, I didn't know that.
That they grew up together.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they're from the same town.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The reason why we're talking about this because Bill Grant, he's been in this research of the Freemasonry stuff, and he talked a lot about it. Just him and I, because he wants to bring his knowledge into this whole case as well with the cult and whatnot, and he knows a lot about it. And we are going to get that other guy too that done that 5-hour video as well. Because he's been in the Freemasons apparently. So, yeah, I mean, take it away, Bill. I know you're eager to say.
Well, there's a lot of my story has never really been told, and there's a lot of good reasons for it. I mean, in one way, I was absolutely an elitist. Kind of went through the phases naturally on my own to become like them, for my own reasons, and because of some influence by readings and people I knew. But I had a lot of gifts in every direction, kind of watered down. I moved a lot and I questioned a lot, and I was very scientific, and I had a lot of big goals, and I was torn. And it got to a point where, I mean, it's a long story and it gets intense. So it comes down to this. By the time I was 15, I was thinking, I mean, God, I mean, what's going on in my life by this time? If I could do this, I know what billionaires can do and above. And it's not just that. There's things I can't tell you yet because there's a lot of reasons, but they're probably not what you're thinking. But I thought I might even become the Antichrist. I mean, things were happening so fast and so powerfully that I thought if there's any chance I would become the Antichrist. I mean, I can't let that happen. So I went on a back and forth retreat. I'm still on that retreat. Okay. I'm still struggling with what's to happen and what I might be able to do about it. I don't know. And
Well,
my
just
wife's
let me
just
ease your fears here just a second. Okay. I spent years studying the Bible, and I mean years, 30, 40 years. And when the term Antichrist, most people misinterpret that to think that it's one person. But when you start reading the scriptures, it refers to anybody. It could be any person, multiple people. It could be the entire world, all of the lost in that sense. So it's not just one going to go and do something bad.
Exactly
So
right.
you're okay. I mean,
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Bill. Yeah, Bill. Bill, what Catherine is trying to say, it's like a circle of people. It can be the Antichrist.
Yeah,
You
could
know,
be a group of people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I know that as well. But I mean, thank you for that. No, I've known that it's kind of both, to be honest. At the very least, they're going to fake it either way. And the reason is because whether you believe in the Bible or prophecy or Jesus coming back or not, they know the masses do. And they know if they fake that, then that means Christians would basically assume they can't stop it, therefore creating a self-fulfilling prophecy to make it happen, so that people will just say, well, it's prophesied, we can't stop it, we know it's going to happen. I mean, anyway, it's I understand their logic, but I turned against that logic. I turned against their plan, and the real main reason was because I saw just enough good and just enough intelligence into people. And if I didn't see that, I would be on their side. I might even be running the whole damn show. I mean, a lot. Someday I may tell what I'm talking about, but it's not really that believable to particular certain types anyway, and other types they'll believe it too easily, which I really don't want people believing things like that too easily. But either way, I'm kind of rambling.
Before we continue on, and we have to wrap it up soon because it is getting late in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Bill, I've got one question. Can you talk about, if you can, what you actually saw that scared the living daylights out of you? If there's something let me rephrase that question. Did you actually saw something that you cannot talk about?
No, not like a bunch of murders. I mean, I was sort of involved in mysteries and murder cases through friends that were involved in tracking and being involved in like cults and devil worshipping groups, and I was sort of mildly mixed into all kinds of other groups as well, Masonic and others. But I never joined anything. Because I was my own person. I was already my own scientist, my own philosopher, my own everything. I didn't need them, and I didn't even want to join. If anything, they were going to join my group. That's how I looked at it. Okay, so, but I didn't want to rule and destroy the world or people. I only believed in uplifting, even however evil people are. I just wanted bad people to become better. And at the same time, I had the urges to want to wipe out the damn planet with all the freaking criminals. So I understand the urges, but I'm trying to get people to realize, don't go with those urges. And people change. It may look like they're not going to, but at the last second, people change for the better in surprising ways. So,
Now, Greg, you wanted me to show something, or did we actually? You were saying something earlier on in the program. We can go into it. Did we cover everything that we were supposed to cover?
Yeah, I think we did. No, I think we did. We covered all of the recordings and everything. Yeah, I think we covered.
Sophia, you had your hand raised a little bit ago. Do you remember what you were going to say?
That you wanted to say the hand signal of the hand.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so tired.
She looks, she's up way late.
It's too late. Man. I mean,
she had some paranormal experiences or some premonitions or something.
Can I ask you guys and girls a serious question? I want to know who invented time, so we can all be on the same timeline. Who invented it?
That would be me. I admit.
I've got serious questions to that person.
Way,
serious questions. You know, but guys and ladies, thank you so much. We'll wrap it up. We'll go on to the hang channel in the next one. But guys, you guys are awesome. Any final words? Let's go around the table. We'll wrap it up.
Hey,
Yep.
just to finish up my little mystery, I mean, one thing I've talked about on occasion is, see, I developed, it was mostly theoretical and intuition and everything. I developed this electromagnetic toroid-like system that basically I had hoped would end up becoming a time machine, controlled gravity, unified fields, that kind of stuff. So I'm a little known for that. And it had to do with the same thing I came up with as a child did end up turned out to be what they used in the Philadelphia experiment and what was found in a large black crashed UFO, according to government friends of mine. And I know you guys probably aren't into that, but that's the part of the mystery I have talked about. It's just,
We've got to say we have to say hello to Cass from Western Australia. She got caught up at work and she missed the show, but she's going to watch the replay at some stage tomorrow. It was you missed the great. Okay, I've got to do this, guys. Just go around the table. Cass, stay there. I have to do a costume change. She didn't say the mask, guys. She didn't say the mask. So continue. Go around the table.
oh man, that's me. No, I just talk. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I just kind of, and I know, as always, we always tend to get off, and I'm like notorious. We always get off topic, and I really hope one of these times we can get in and just stay focused on the paranormal aspect of all of this, because I think we only barely skimmed the surface, and I'm assuming not just myself, but Billy, obviously, I don't know if Scott and I probably Crypt or Sophia. More people other than I know just myself have also had experiences with the paranormal. So I would really like us to be able to dig into exactly just that topic, stay on that topic, and then see how much of that is associated with the case.
I have to agree with that.
So Cass says, Bill, you look rather special, and
Yeah.
me,
Yes, I do.
Just look like I just got infected by COVID. So that's all I got.
I think I'm about to. I'm not yet. It hasn't got me yet. Almost.
Jeez.
I know people. I know people on this planet. I know there's people on this panel. Know people who had COVID. I know some people too, but I'm just having a light joke. This is what COVID done to me for Halloween. Okay, so it's a joke. It's a joke.
This is what you find inside the vaccine needles. If you don't inject them into yourself and you kind of squirt them on your table, this comes out of it. Those little things get bigger.
Right.
But guys, what I just told you actually is relevant to all of this, because the whole global powers that are into psychic phenomenon, spiritual powers, cult, they're very, very into the science I just talked about. They have that science. These same cultists have what I just talked about, and it has a lot to do with. And I'll just shut up now. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll go around the table. Crypt Rick, and then we'll go to Scott, and then Greg, you can finish it up.
I want to say something real quick. I just want to add one
Go.
tiny thing in here, and that's the fact that even though I have experienced these demons, I'm a very religious person, and I know the difference between. I don't think that they're somebody's Walking Dead relative. I truly believe that they're demons, and the only way I got through that was having a faith in the Creator. So for me, that's what works for me.
Yeah.
Amen.
So we go to Crypt Rick, we go to Scott, and then we'll go to Greg to wrap it up.
All right. Well, I just want to first thank you for having me on the panel tonight and
You're
seeing all you
welcome.
guys. And I haven't had I have to be I haven't had anything paranormal happen to me that I know of that I can remember. I wish I kind of did in a way, just to know what it would, to experience it. I've never actually had, and I'm very interested in it. And it's a topic I look at a lot. And I just wanted to say that I think that because we're talking so much about Freemasonry in this conversation, I really hope that people even that are watching and listening, they check out that documentary. I like to call it, it's not really documentary. I guess it's his testimony. And maybe like Catherine, you can repeat the person doing it. I can't ever remember his name. And maybe Jamie, you can post a link in the video to go and see that 5-hour testimonial. I think that it's an amazing look at Freemasonry from somebody who was in it, and I think it answers so many questions about Freemasonry. Like, at least I think it's going to answer any questions you have, and I just think it's important. And but I mean, I really, and I'm not sure if I would say envy people that have had paranormal experiences, but you hear people seeing aliens, and you see Bigfoot and all of these things, and I'm just not one of those lucky ones. I never see anything like that. So
That's true. So yeah, I'm going to put it in the chat room. So just continue to I've just got to gather that and I'll put it into the chat room. So Scott, take it away, man.
Yeah, well, I'll be setting up my own daily show any day now, and I'd like to maybe a couple of weeks down the road do a whole series of shows on David Crowley, and I've been currently replaying Old Truthers on my Twitch page. And if anyone wants to get a hold of me with tips or suggestions, my email is zadokian782@mail.com. So if anyone wants to give me some advice or lead me in different directions.
What was that again, Scott?
zadokian782@mail.com.
Cool. Yeah.
So yep, you can take it away, Greg. I'm going to put this link in the chat room. This is the 5-hour long testimonial.
Nice.
On YouTube. The guy talks about it. It's a long one. It might take you a day or two just to get everything in. But there's the link in the chat room. So there it is. Take away.
Wait,
Greg.
You got to hold on a few, like 25 more, 15 seconds, and then it will be 3:03 and 33 seconds. So hold on. All right,
Well,
33 more seconds. Wait 33 more seconds.
33 more seconds. Okay, now we're good. Did we get any final comments from Sophia? I didn't hear any final comments from her.
Final comment from Sophia. Yeah, we'll have to tuck her into bed.
I just wanted to let the audience know that the group is called Justice for David, Crowley, and Family, and we're located on Facebook. And we welcome everybody, basically, even if you have doubts on whether David is innocent or not. We can help you get connected with all the reports. I can help you even fill out FOIA requests, which is a Freedom of Information request, to send off to Apple Valley so you could get your very own reports so that you know that we're not hiding anything from you guys. And I hope to see some new people soon.
All right. So, Greg, the floor's yours, man. This is your control tonight. You wanted to do this on Halloween, and
it was my idea, though, right? Remember?
That's right. It was your idea.
It was my idea.
I get all the credit for it, apparently. So.
But before you continue, Greg and I, we want to do a wrestling show. We're
absolutely.
We are old school WWF, WCW, TNA, NWA, New Japan Wrestling. We're going to go right through it. He got a photo of my ultimate favorite wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior, the late Ultimate Warrior. He's got a photo.
Hey, what you guys can do, you guys could like do a split screen, right? And you both be on one will be on the left and the other will be on the right, but like aim at each other in the camera and like pretend to fight. That would work. We could make that work.
I'm going to dress yeah, that's Hogan.
Yeah. Hogan.
So we're going to do a series.
No,
of
I'm
those
sorry,
wrestling.
Greg. Hulk Hogan. No.
No, you know this one.
Does anyone remember Andre the Giant?
Of course,
Absolutely.
Who doesn't?
Is that Roddy?
That is
No,
Brutus
he was
the
the big
Barber
guy.
Beefcake.
There was Randy
Not
Roddy
enough bubble
Piper.
gum. I'm
But-
here because there's not enough bubble gum.
Andre the
Hercules.
Giant was such a huge wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
He was the biggest wrestler in history.
Absolutely. Larger than life.
And also,
Never won the title, undefeated. But I have this book here too that has we got their autographs. All of their autographs are all in this book right here too. So we'll go through all of that.
Macho Man Randy Savage. Also, he's got the Ultimate Warrior tag team partner, Sting.
That's right. We got that here too somewhere. Where's Sting? Where's my buddy Sting? Sting signed. I met him. Very cool guy. He is tall. He's a very awesome guy. Very chill guy. He's also a Christian too, and so I didn't realize that until much later. But it's fascinating to know how many wrestlers are actually Christians.
I know I'm going a little bit off script. I know that Greg needs to wrap it up, but here's something for Greg. Do you remember the demon from WCW that dressed up as Gene Simmons?
Yes, that was the Kiss Demon. Yes, I remember that. That's
I've got him on my friend list. I've got him
Really?
on my friend list. Yes, I do.
Is he still wrestling? I heard he was
Yes,
still.
He just made a reappearance on TNA Bound for Glory.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Crypt Rick also has a history in wrestling, a little known history, but I've been watching some of his videos. He was a manager of the year at some point here too, so he would definitely be good to get on that
All
show
right,
here.
all right. We're going to do
Okay,
a
well, you
triple
guys
threat.
reminisce. I'm gonna go to bed.
No,
Tired.
no.
Yeah.
What I'm going to just say is
All right, good night.
Thanks, Captain.
we're going to do a triple
was
threat
fun.
show on wrestling with Rick as well.
That's right.
Take it away. Take the floor is yours, Greg. The floor is yours.
Okay, well, you know, I am a Christian. I've always considered myself a believer in God, a believer in Jesus Christ. I consider a Christian just somebody who believes in Jesus Christ, believes in the Bible, believes in God, believes that Jesus Christ died for our sin, whatever you want to call him. And that's where I started. I just go wherever God leads me. And for whatever reason, I felt like he led me to this case. And you know, I'm on other cases too. It may not seem like it, but I do follow other cases too. I am in the process of writing 4 different books right now, and but I just go wherever God leads me. No fear. It is very important. For some reason, this case, you know, just kind of stands out a little bit more. But I do believe that this case ties into a lot of other things too. But you know, I just make that very, very clear that everything that I do is for him. And I want to make sure that I do that. And sometimes I do fail. Sometimes I fall short, but I keep getting back up. I keep on trying. And for me, that's what matters most, is that, you know, I have to look myself. I have to wake up every day, look at myself and say, did I try? Did I do the best that I could possibly do? With this case, I can tell you I have not put in the effort that I would like to put in, because my effort is focused on Christ. But if God leads me to look at this stuff, if he leads me to write this book, if he leads me to keep on this case, man, I'm going to keep on it. And I definitely feel like that. I feel like he has led me to just kind of stay on this case. And I'm not going to be the one to solve the case. I can already tell you that. But look at this panel that we have here. Look at all of the people that we have that come here and talk about this stuff, you know, and it's just so encouraging for me to see everybody here. And I just thank all of you here for being a part of this case, for helping to keep this case going, to support this case, and to realize, you know, there is a family out there. There's a family that was murdered. And I'm just so happy to have so many people here in our group everywhere kind of following this case and sharing their thoughts on it. It means so much to me.
Okay.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
Hey,
Philemon just asked me if you guys can drop all the links in the comment section underneath this video from all of your channels, if you can, please. He wants to subscribe to your channel. Philemon is in the chat room. Well, don't have to do it now. You can do it tomorrow. But in the comment section underneath the video, can you drop your link to your channels and get Philemon to follow you. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
yeah,
Hey,
Bill.
Greg, you might not want this done on air. You may prefer that we talk about it right now. For next Monday night, you have been invited. The Noreen I was talking to you about in Skype, she would love to have you. So,
Sure.
yeah, so it would fit in with your time schedule right now. And
Yeah.
so next Monday night, we'll call it now. If you have to cancel, it's no problem either way. But you want to let your fans know you'll be on Noreen Helphand's show right now.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Revolution Radio, 12 midnight. So it's basically between Monday and Tuesday. Monday night, Tuesday AM, and that's Noreen Helphand's Wild at Heart. She's very nice. You'd like her. I almost got her to come on to meet you guys the other night. So
Awesome.
yeah, it'll be
That
good.
sounds like fun.
You'll like her. You'll like her. Yeah.
All right,
All right.
guys, we've got to wrap it up. It's getting late in your neck of the woods, and I want to say thanks to Sophia, Catherine, for being awesome servants of this. You, Greg, Crip Rick, we're going to hook up an interview so you can ask me questions all about Australia, what's going on, and we might actually. I'll get Scott. I'll get Scott on. He's from Australia too. I'll get Scott on for that show too. Scott, thanks for joining, and the Dreamer. Bill Grant, thanks for joining. Everybody in the chat room, it's been an absolute pleasure. 2.5 hours show for Halloween. Hope you got candies. Hope you got kisses from your loved ones. And most importantly, if you still have a mother, can you say this for me? Say that I said hello. How you going? All right. Join us next time on Southern Truth tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern for Americans, and we'll be doing all the news that's been going on over the weekend. So thanks, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Catch you tomorrow.
Nighty night.